So we're going to do 3 more examples, this time getting into a few fractions. There are a few ways you could handle this one. If I want to solve this, again, I just want to get x by itself. So somehow I got to get rid of 2/3. And there's a couple ways you can do that. Probably the easiest way is to multiply by what we call the reciprocal, which is just the flipped version of this. Because if I multiply 2/3 by 3/2, the 3's cancel, the 2's cancel, and I just have x. So that's the quickest way to do this. And if I multiply this side by 3/2, I also need to multiply this side by 3/2. And the 2's cancel, the 3's cancel, and I just have x. 12 times 3 is 36 divided by 2, which is 18. So that's my answer. You could always check your work. Does 2/3 of 18 give you 12? Let me show you another way you could handle this. You could take it one step at a time, and by that I mean this is basically like 2 times x divided by 3. So to get rid of dividing by 3, you could multiply by 3. So times 3, which would get rid of this and leave just 2x equals 36. And then to get rid of the 2, divide by 2. That's basically what we just did, but in 2 steps rather than doing it all at once. So either way. Let's do another example with some fractions. This says, find the value of x that makes this equation true. Again, we're just solving for x, trying to find x. Ultimately, I want to get the x's on the same side of the equation, but I can't really do that right now because of all this division. So you could go ahead and break it up and put these both over the denominator and these both over that denominator, but that's not going to help a whole lot on this one. So what I'm going to do instead is just get rid of the denominators altogether. And here's how we can do that. Since it's an equation, as long as you do the same thing to both sides, it's a legal move. So if I don't want to have divided by 3, I'll just multiply by 3. I'll have to do it to this side too, but that will get rid of that. So now what I'm left with is 2x plus 1 equals x plus 1 times 3 over 2. The 3 can go in front if you want, or in the back. Again, I don't want this either, so to get rid of divided by 2, I'll multiply by 2, which will cancel that out. But I'll need to also make sure I multiply this side by a 2 as well, just to keep it balanced. Be careful, you're not just multiplying the first term by the 2, you're multiplying the entire thing by a 2, so you need some parentheses there. Okay, so now I'm left with 2 times this stuff equals 3 times this stuff. I'm going to need to distribute at this point. 2 times 2x is 4x. 2 times 1 is 2. On this side, you need to distribute the 3. So 3 times x, 3 times 1. So 3x plus 3. Okay, after all of that, I got rid of all the fraction mess. And so now I'm here, just rewriting it up here. Now I still have x's on both sides of the equation. So to eliminate that, I need to move this over here or this over here. It doesn't matter which. I'm going to move the 3x. So since it was plus 3x, I'll subtract it, and 4 minus 3 is 1x. Everything else stays the same. And now to get x by itself, just subtract 2. And finally, x is 3 minus 2, which is 1. Again, we could check and make sure. If we put in 1 for x, does 2 times 1 plus 1 over 3 equal the same as 1 plus 1 over 2? Which it does. All right, one final example, and if you feel good, you may not need this example, but I just wanted to show you one final problem of some crazy fraction stuff. Notice I have 1/2 x and minus 5/6 x. You could combine those by getting a common denominator and adding them up, but that's going to be kind of annoying. So another way you could handle this one is figure out a number that you could multiply all of these by to just completely eliminate the denominators. Like what could you multiply up here that would get rid of 3, 2, and 6? And the answer is 6, because if I multiply this by a 6, and this by a 6, and this by a 6, and I'll have to multiply this side by a 6 too to keep it balanced. What happens is 6 times 1 over 3 is 2x. On this one, 6 times 3 divided by 2, that's 18 over 2, which is 9. Or 3 times 3 is 9. Minus, these 6's just cancel out and leave minus 5x. Another way of doing that would be 6 times 5 is 30 divided by 6 is 5. And that all equals 3 times 6 or 18. Now I've just got rid of the fractions, which is nice. So I'll combine 2 and minus 5x, which is negative 3x. And now just get x by itself. So subtract the 9 first. And then divide by negative 3. Again, that's multiplication, so we need to divide to get rid of it. And so x is equal to negative 3.